We are in the heartland of our area here in New Carlisle, and I am a little bit of a geeky nerd when it comes to history, so I am just in heaven being with you this morning. So why don't you tell me a little bit about how New Carlisle came to be? Who was the founder?
Sure. Originally, the land that New Carlisle sits on was owned by Native American Lazarus Barissa, and it was purchased from him, Richard Carlisle. He had traveled here, he had family here, and he purchased it from Lazarus Barissa, and for $2,000, I believe, 160 acres, and he platted the town in 1835. He was a famous theatrical performer and circus performer. He traveled all over the world. He performed for kings and queens and dignitaries. He was just a character. He used to juggle his two sons. He would lie flat on his back, and with his feet, he would juggle them in the air. And it was known as the Risley Act, and it was in the Guinness Book of World Records.
Oh my gosh.
So yeah, it's just a neat history about him.
Thing.
He never made New Carlisle his home or anything. He just kind of came, saw, bought, and moved on.
But named after him, so he's got a bit of a heritage here. That's it's so interesting. You've done such a beautiful job with the museum, but you know the thing that I've noticed as I've been to New Carlisle a few times is the amount of just beautiful homes. The architectural detail in such a small town is beautiful, but then it's also been maintained and restored, and it's just a really great place for someone who really loves that kind of thing. Talk about the commitment to that here in New Carlisle.
We've been fortunate that people have realized, you know, the beauty of these historic homes, and for the most part have really, you know, kept them up over the years. So we always like to highlight. I do an architectural walking tour every year for the public, and talk about the details and the history of the homes, who built them, or the businesses, and who started those. So, and we want to keep promoting and fostering that idea of historic preservation in our community.
I love the fact that the history of the New Carlisle High School isn't lost.
No, it's
not. And I bet you that your members and the people who've lived here their whole lives are got to be so appreciative of walking in and seeing all of the narratives and the photos and the letter jackets and that kind of thing. Let's take a look at some of that over here.
Sure. I had a neat find, and the girls' basketball went back to 1907. We found a picture of girls playing as early as 1907.
Oh my gosh, look at those outfits.
Isn't that?
Yeah. That's fantastic.
And to read that. So that was kind of one of my most fun finds when someone donated this to me. I was at the time working on a book about New Carlisle, and that was just really neat. So that's one of my favorite pictures.
Well, it's such a joy just to walk through, and I'm sure that for older residents especially who've grown up here, to come and see the amazing amount of detail and respect that you give their alma mater has to make them super proud, and hopefully super supportive of what you're doing here.
Yes,
it's
we
important.
do. We have a lot of alumni. We do. We've done an alumni open house every year in the summer and welcome alumni from both New Carlisle and New Prairie schools back, and to check out, you know, the pictures and everything.
Sure. And you're a membership organization.
Yes, yes.
So a lot of your budget comes from people who become members.
Yeah, we rely on memberships and donations.
And I suppose you don't have to live in New Carlisle to be a member.
No, I bet almost close to half of our membership live out of town.
Oh my gosh.
And a lot of people that they grew up here, went to school here, but then they've since moved.
But it's nice that they still give back to their hometown.
We do a bi-monthly newsletter, so we kind of keep them abreast of what's, you know, going on in New Carlisle, and put some historical tidbits in there, and they enjoy the newsletter.
Well, I think you are an absolute delight to talk to. You're
thank
so
you.
knowledgeable about all the things in New Carlisle that I keep coming up with. So I would encourage all of you at home, come down. There are lots of cute things to do in New Carlisle, and the museum and gift shop here is going to have to be on your list for sure.
Well, we are in the beautiful, historic New Carlisle Museum and Gift Shop, and we get to hear all about this amazing space, the unique finds from Executive Director Dana Groves. Dana, thank you for letting us be in this amazing, newer space.
Yeah, welcome. We're excited to have you here.
We'll share a little bit about historic New Carlisle and really kind of how all of these items took shape and really represent the town.
Sure. Historic New Carlisle is a not-for-profit historical society. We were organized in 1989, so we're over 30 years old. We've been in the community, and we work to educate the community about the history, historic preservation. We've done some historic preservation projects in the community to invest and preserve our historic places. And recently, we've been at the Old Republic, which is a beautiful Italianate home down the street for over 20 years. We restored it we bought it in '98. And we decided a couple years ago to sell it. We wanted to kind of downsize a little bit, but then expand the museum space. I didn't have a very big museum space there. And so we sold it to private individuals. It's family owned now. And we purchased this building downtown and restored it. And it's our new, I have about 3 times the size of what I had as far as the museum space.
I mean, it's a beautiful space to be able to feature everything about this wonderful town. You know, a lot of people might have driven past New Carlisle or maybe have never just really stopped and enjoyed the history. Sure. Share a little bit about just the town in general for those that maybe have driven past so many times, but now they need to make a visit.
Yeah. We're a very small town, about 1,800 population, so you might miss us if you blink going through town, but we're on the original Michigan Road. Michigan Road was a road surveyed through the state of Indiana. It was meant to open up settlement in the state. They started down in Madison, Indiana, and it was supposed to be a straight shot to Michigan City, but they encountered the Grand Kankakee Marsh and had to reroute and come up through South Bend, and then they headed west through New Carlisle. So that really helped to open up the settlement to the community. And then later on, the same road became the Lincoln Highway. So we have 2 historic byways that run through our downtown. So that's pretty special. So our community, we have some great historic homes. We have a walking tour brochure that you can stop by and pick up and kind of do a self-guided walking tour through our community. We have some great buildings in the downtown, a lot of local businesses. So yeah, a lot of things to do. Parks, we're nearby Bendix Woods County Park, Spicer Lake, and close to Lake Michigan and Chicago. You can hop on the South Shore train down at Hudson Lake and make your way to Chicago. So.
Well, even as I was driving in, you see the New Carlisle sign, a nice place to visit, a great place to live. Yeah. And this museum space really does feature that. How do you acquire all of these items that really showcase the rich history?
We've been accepting donations to our museum since we were formed in 1989. So this is kind of 30 years worth of people in the community that have offered maybe a letter sweater or a trophy from the 1955 basketball championship. We have a lot of photographs, newspaper articles. There's a lot more that are stored in the archives in the basement that's not even on display. So we're fortunate that people have had the foresight to donate these items to help preserve and tell the history of the town.
Well, you were sharing that this is a newer location.
Yes.
And we were talking earlier about the foot traffic is so much, has increased now that you're at your newer location. So if somebody wants to stop by, can they just walk right in the front door and just appreciate all the rich history, or what does that look like to be able to visit the museum and gift shop?
Yes, I am here Tuesdays through Saturdays, so Tuesday through Friday 10 to 4 and Saturdays 10 to 2. So, and the front door's open, and we're excited to have people coming through. I get a lot of people from out of town, even LaPorte and Valparaiso, so it's neat, and people from Michigan that are maybe shopping downtown that want to check us out too, so that's neat.
Yeah, it's a beautiful space just to warm up and learn a little bit more about this amazing small town that they're kind of roaming through. Well, you're also the president of Discover New Carlisle.
Yes.
Share a little bit about that as well.
Discover New Carlisle is a not-for-profit organization as well. We're a Indiana Main Street organization, and Main Street's been around for years, worked to kind of promote the community as a whole and promote businesses, and we really try to get people to come and spend their dollars and time in New Carlisle.
Well, this is a beautiful museum space and gift shop. We're going to learn a little bit more about all of these unique items right here in historic New Carlisle.